good day to you. Today we are approaching COVID blues and online blues. Three major topics we will be addressing. One, the online studies and the keeping your brain bright while you're on online studies. Two, keeping your medically safe and not having any medical consequences of being on too much online studies. Thirdly, we want to address the issue of the special dad kids or parents kid coaching relationship because of COVID times and online studies. So let me get on to the first one, and for this I had to explain a bit on neurochemistry, neurophysiology. Our brain has a default mode network of thought. So what happens is every hour we work for 45 minutes of salience, and the neurochemical transmitter involved in that is dopamine. So dopamine keeps focus, do and it comes down. Then serotonin works for satiety and check back. How do I improve this? How do I do it better? So the child, while studying, while he's reading the book, he has to have this check back attitude of did I understand, how do I improve? Then collation, connection with other sections that he already knows, committing to memory, recall and reproduce at the right time. All these get affected by online studies, so you have to have specific exercises or modalities to see that those things keep on going. So what you do is you must encourage your son. Now this is a section on keeping brain bright while on online studies. You have to encourage your son and daughter always to take down notes on what is being said over the online speaker or whatever it is. Now you can't fight with them. You must encourage them to do this and coach them all the time. So one good place to begin is first thing in the morning before you go to work. By about 7:30, sit with your son or daughter and write them their timetable. This is very important. Not tell them to do it. Sit down and write, because there is a generation used to kinesthesia, touch and moving around relationships, so they need to sit with you and you have to say, let's what are you going to do at 8 o'clock? You ask them. So you have to keep a little interaction before you rush to work for the preparation of the timetable. Now it may be the same timetable that you did yesterday, but you have to daily do a timetable. So 8 o'clock, let's say science, 9 o'clock mathematics, whatever. You get them to write down. Writing down every day is important. They may fuss a little, but tell them this is important, darling. This is the map. This is the compass for your next 12 hours. Then you put the lunch time. You can even put a snack time. Then you put the fun times. Then you have to have some safeguard in between their online studies. They don't go to other digital stuff, because they are quite able to do that, and they are quite tempted to do that because children have nothing else to do. So take care of that also. Then get their timetable going till about 6 p.m. So add some gardening time, pet time, cricket time, football time, whatever other things you do, put those things. This is about the early morning exercise for dad. It's dad who should do it. Sit down with your son and sit down with your daughter and do it. Now let's get back to the brain bright thing. You remember I said dopamine works for salience for 45 minutes. Serotonin works for check back, how to improve. So it becomes not only a curricular exercise, it becomes a character exercise, because they are always thinking of how can I improve this. So it's a self-correction. They are looking back at their study and you encourage them specifically not to just rush off. So when you allow serotonin to work, if you are too much on the online screen and in between multitasking, chatting, speaking to friends, going here and there while the teacher is on online, multiple windows open, meddling and messing up, then what happens is your dopamine keeps going up, Dopamine does not know to come down. So do one thing at a time. Old school advice, you have to explain to them. So what I hope is, if kids are not watching this now, Dad, you must replay this and watch it with your son. Pause it, explain to it, where this is good advice, this is scientific advice. Otherwise, young fellows can think parents are from the Jurassic Park, from the dinosaur age. But when you learn science and talk science and tell them, darling, you must allow dopamine to settle and do one thing at a time. So that one thing at a time is about the default mode network and how our prefrontal cortex works. It works on initiation, navigation, successful and conclusion, reward. So initiation, navigation, successful and conclusion happens with dopamine. The reward motive of check back, how did it go, happens with serotonin. Every hour you must allow this. So if adults also keep their hourly default mode network and work like that, you don't get Alzheimer. So don't do multitasking, looking at many screens, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, here, there and everywhere. No. Get your brain into initiation, navigation, successful and conclusion, one thing at a time, and a good reward motive going. That makes you, while you are studying your brain online, your brain is becoming brilliant. If you do many things at the same time, you are not initiating, navigating, successful and conclusion. You are doing this, starting this, your brain also becomes staccato like that, and you don't establish a memory line of 45 minutes. It's very important to sustain the one thing navigation line for 45 minutes. That's the attention span, attention depth, attention concentration. That makes your young fellow brain brilliant. And when young fellows are listening to this, they must understand all those formative years of studying up to the age of 14 is what you have for training your brain in this attention span, attention depth, attention intensity or attention concentration. If you do many things at the same time without concluding one thing, you don't get this attention stretch develop. It's like doing body exercise. You have to do this brain bright system, which I believe God has designed it like that. Like many things God has designed, in this thing also we better follow the way He has designed our brain system. Then I want to come to this slide to explain. Now if you want my slide presentation, you can request that will be available. This slide presentation will be available. I'm speaking from a slide presentation with graphics. So this is the prefrontal cortex, and the way it does conceptualization, normal work is executive, empathic, reflective, creative, initiation, navigation, successful in conclusion, and reward. This is the decision making process. Now if you allow dopamine to go haywire, up, down, shoot like that, that happens with improper or too much digital activity, multiple digital activity. Then the dopamine not only doesn't come down, it also does a chick, which is not the way our conceptualizing tracks are designed to work. Now, if you keep doing that, what happens is, this proper design is called top-down regulation. From that you go to bottom-up regulation. Then the amygdala gets involved when dopamine fluctuations occur, and you get into bottom-up regulation. Then you have dyspathy, impulsivity, repetitive, reflexive, reactive, and you get into a fight, flight mode. You feel like that. And then you have underlying stress in the brain. Then what happens is, from our brain is designed for neurons to have a unidirectional firing mode. Then neurons begin to have a multi-directional firing mode. You don't have to remember all this, but I'm telling you how to be brain bright while on online studies. So you have to share this with your son and daughter. You understand it and explain to him. We have a set of documents that we can either send you by email or by post when you ask for it. So the same registering email that you use for, you can ask for it. There's no cost added to it. So this is how keep your top-down regulation going. Don't go to bottom-up regulation. That is when you get into that start-stop mode, then everything from outside stimulates you more than your thinking process. Now, if you train your young fellow, and if young fellows are listening, if you train yourself to get into deep thought over 45 minutes, tracking one subject, committing it to memory, thinking thoughts on it, accumulating knowledge on it, one direct line, then that's the way you develop new neuronal circuits for memory with that what is called deep thought. Gamma rays begin to work in the brain. Deep thought. That deep thought is the time you are becoming brain brilliant, and it should be silent as possible. So immediately the topic comes out about music. Young people will say, Dad, when I listen to music, I can sit long and studies. Sit long is true, but studies is not true. If you get music into your ears, with earphones or whatever it is, if you have music playing, what happens is your temporal lobe begins to get active, and music invokes and provokes, stimulates your world of imagination. Whereas studying, you can't be imaginative, you have to study one thing at a time, committed to memory. But when music is going on, you begin to go to the past, you begin to project to the future, your imagination and fantasia is aroused by music. So if you are keeping music on while studying, you are not studying. You are just looking at the book or looking at the online, listening but not studying. So I appeal to young people, when you are studying, please don't listen to music. Absolutely essential. Then when the online study session is over, and I have done many lectures in my schools, and this is the first book I wrote, Right Learning and Recovering Childhood. This is available from Sarasavi and from Vijitayappa, and it's available online. The foreword for this is written by Warden of St. Thomas's College and by the former Dean of the Medical Faculty. And when you get used to this right kind of studying method, your brain is becoming brilliant, because memory tracks develop only till the age of 14. So do as much as you can to develop the memory tracks. So now we go to 7 tracks of the brain that develop from the mother's womb. So at this time itself, I must tell anyone pregnant, you must reduce your hyperdigital activity. You must start speaking to the baby. You must bond, exercise bonding activities, think thoughts and pray or sing to the little fellow about 3 times a day, even when you're at work. Now many moms are working on the digital screen, and then they must not continuously do that. You must have a break about after about 3 hours. This is true for any mom. More so for pregnant moms, you must start speaking to the baby, think thoughts about the baby, sing to the baby, talk to the baby. All that is important for the baby's brain growth, though today it's not mainly about babies. It's today about young people who are on online studies on extended times because of COVID. So my 3 themes are: while on online studies, how do you keep brain bright? 2, how do you avoid medical issues that come with too much screen? 3, what parents, particularly dad, ought to do during a period of time when children have to do much online work. Now let me go on to some of the medical aspects. So I have already told you, don't allow your attention span and depth to decrease. Your planning becomes poor, so that your question answer style you must establish during your study time. It's best that the student himself formulates questions and writes them down. So immediately you have a quick recall on what you are studying. Writing a question down. Of course, you will have questions in the textbook. You will have questions that the teacher gives. But if you have a quick recall and you write your own questions while studying, it's very good. Then if you are too much on the digital screen, you get a chronic fatigue syndrome with dopamine depletion. You get very sleepy during daytime. You must not allow there. Then learning is uninteresting. You keep saying boring, I don't care, who cares. Then your decisions become shallow. There's decreased creativity, and you begin to recruit anti-reward systems of feeling I don't like myself, I don't like studies, I don't like teacher. Don't confess those things because they begin to reinforce your thinking. We most believe what we talk. I'll repeat it. We most believe what we talk. So when we talk something, it makes deep impressions on our memory tracks. Then the digital effects on sleep, I must take it on at this time because it's the main issue when children are on online studies. Pixel stimulation suppresses melatonin secretion. At 6 p.m., melatonin secretion begins to happen. Melatonin secretion is done by a small gland in the brain called the pineal gland, and it is very important for brain health, important for retina health, and it is also important for many organs which have a kind of cell called chromaffin cell. So all our sexual organs also have chromaffin cells. Therefore, it is proper melatonin secretion needs to happen. If after 6 p.m., if you begin to meddle too much with the digital screen, especially high-end screens, then your sleep gets affected. Now I will give you 5 golden laws about the digital screen that you need to keep. This is relevant to sleep, this is relevant to other things also. 1. Reduce screen activity after 6 p.m. Because sleep is dependent on melatonin and also all the brain cells and brain neurochemical neurochemistry, brain chemical molecules are all put into proper order by cells called the glial cells, which is the lymphatic system. Those are dependent on the melatonin. So there are now, I know, online classes at 9 p.m. also, which is not a good thing. But something you can do is have an old laptop without a LED screen, without a pixel screen. Smartphones, iPad and tab are very high in PPI, so though they give smart images, they have a greater not good effect on the brain. So if you can have an old laptop with a LCD screen or a desktop, that would be better because the online times are very long. So reduce screen activity, first law. 2, no screen at meal times. Meal times must be free of screen. In formative years, good habits are formed during meal time, and don't get into fisticuff with your son and daughter at meal time. Meal time is not judgment time. Meal time is not court time. Meal time is not time to ask this, that and the other. Meal time must be the best happy time. Third law is don't give the screen before 3 years because a child's speech will scramble. So no screen before 3 years. Please, this is medical advice. I know you will lose your digital nanny, but if you give screen before 3 years, child will not form language. In our Empathic Learning Center, I am Dr. Lalit Nandis, by the way. My last official post was as Head of Department of Pharmacology in the State Medical Faculty. Now I run an Empathic Learning Center. I am the director of Colombo Empathic Learning Center. So many children who come to me with parents referred by my students or by schools is because at the age of 6 they are not forming language properly. They cannot form sentences properly because early days, before the age of 3, they have been put on the screen. So American Pediatric Association insists that you do not give the screen to children under the age of 3. Then take a break after 25 minutes of screen. It is good if schools do periods for 25, maximally 30 minutes. Online periods, and give the child a break of 15 minutes. But then during that break, they must not do other digital networking activity. So supervision is necessary. And do not use LED lights where your child is studying. Reduce LED lights because LED lights have a blue frequency. Don't have LED lights in your bedroom. Don't have LED lights in your washroom. And reduce 4K screen or 8K screen. That TV watching with that is also a reason for disturbed sleep. So when a child has too much digital activity and sleep is disturbed, child gets up in the morning grouchy and not remembering what he studied, not remembering what is required of him. So he will criticize school, he will say teacher is no good, and he'll be generally grumpy. Even the 40-year-old male child in the house, if he's onto too much screen activity, he will also get up in the morning grumpy when he has not had his proper physiological sleep. What is proper physiological sleep? Where the REM and non-REM sleep cycles change and brain is adjusted for next day's work. Fifth and final law is keep attention span for 45 minutes. I told you all this time at the beginning also. Do not multitask. Do not get into so many screen windows and so on. Now a few things about I want to give some tips about how to reduce effect of the screen on the brain. So I told you after 6 p.m. reduce digital screen. Observe sunset. At that time, get your kid to go play some games outside. Open the curtains. Don't have digital lights on when sunset is happening. Observing sunset is very good for brain health and for hormonal health. Excuse me. Similarly, you must wake up early enough. Teach your kid also to wake up early enough to observe or feel the effect of sunrise. That is by 5:45 it's good for the child to be up. Which means you have to sleep early. That's the thing. The child must have at least 9 hours sleep. Sleep early so that they wake up with sunrise. Then only your chronobiological rhythm of insulin, growth hormone, cortisol smoothly take off. If you get up at 8 a.m., you or your kid, it's a rush thing, and that rush get up because there's a lot of sunlight does not begin the day's chronobiology, hormonal rhythms well. Once in a way it's okay, but don't make it a daily habit. Get up with sunrise is the key to a good, healthy neurochemical, neurohormonal balance for the day. So don't allow your sleep to be disturbed. Then I want to add a little more about sleep. Dream sleep I told you. Observe sunset also is important. Sleep restores melatonin in retinal cells and prevents macular degeneration and so on. Now I want to get on to what happens with medically, what will happen if the child does not, your child gets into digital overuse. So online studies is a necessity of life now. You don't allow him to move into too much dopamine activity, which results in him having a fight, fright, flight mode all the time. He's belligerent, and you have to give him more commendation than correction. That's the thing with this digital age. Commendation, the correction they hear like criticism. So you can't say you did this wrong. You have to say, darling, this is how you improve on this. You have to talk the language of improvement, commendation, celebration more than calibration. If your voice, mood, face, language, body language makes them feel I am put on the scaffolding or this is like an exam, they will not like it. So make it like ongoing coaching, making like ongoing education. Always you are talking about improvement. Now with when the children are too much on the digital screen, their cortisol gets aroused because they feel stress. Then they have obesity, childhood obesity. When your child is putting on weight unnecessarily, one reason is too much digital activity. Second reason is sleeping late. and getting up late, so that your melatonin cycle did not work properly. Sometimes even steatosis of the liver can happen, fatty change of the liver, because digitized children don't take normal meals properly. They say, I hate fruit and I hate vegetable, and then their liver gets go through fatty change, and then they learn to take tippy-tip sausage and on the run snacks all the time they eat, which can produce a unhealthy liver. Then the digital screen, because of the dopamine, it provokes childhood migraine, and it also provokes the migraine comes from abnormal serotonin balance. It also provokes abnormal serotonin balance in the intestine. Then you get an abdominal migraine, complaining of stomach aches, abdominal pains without any reason. Then you know that your child's digital activity is going wrong. I have an article on this seminar I presented to SLMA, Sri Lanka Medical Association. If you are a doctor or a teacher, if you want to have it, you can say, you can send a request to my timeline or my inbox or to the registration email asking for that document about the other long-term effects or other effects, more academic medical effects of the too much of the digital screen. So I have already shown you this book, Right Learning and Recovering Childhood. Then this is my latest book, Screen Smart. It has a lot of little charts and little tabulations. These are all available from Sarasavi Bookshop and Vijitayapa Bookshop. Also, it's available online. If you do Lalit Mendis and digital books, they'll come up. Here is another. This is a very important book. This is Mom, Dad, Me and Mistake Management. These are written that you will read it with the child, which is also important. This is Parenting, Heart and Brain in a Digital Age. And this is Children Are Heritage and Our Future. So 7 p.m. Dad, you must take time to read a little paragraph from this. They are written as paragraphs to be read with children. Then other bad medical effects of too much digital overuse is immunity becomes low because of the stress factor, cortisol high, they catch infections easily, outdoor life is so limited. So by 4 p.m., 5 p.m. you must push them to the garden if you have a garden. If you don't have a garden, there are ways of creating a gym at home. I don't know whether I have time to go through that today. My clips are available on YouTube also. So clip number 187, I do quite a bit on how to create a gym at home. Yes. So for things like hanging a cricket ball and playing. Then to reduce the digitizing effect on the brain, there are things you can do. I'll get to that soon. So don't allow your sleep to be disturbed. We must keep your brain sleep time intact. Now minimalizing digitalization while on online studies. How do you minimize? 1. Take down notes as much as possible. As much as possible, write flowing hand. This writing flowing hand, even if you don't like it, it gives your brain clockwise and anti-clockwise movement, makes brain bright. That is the important activity of writing flowing hand. Not just the cursives are important, not only block letters. Work on a laptop rather than an iPad. I told you, and an LCD laptop is better. Do not increase digitization in personal life. So much digital activity, reduce it. Then don't use 4K screen, 8K screen a long time. Every bit of blue light contributes to the digitization. Reduce multitasking, do one thing at a time. You remember, initiate, navigate, successful and conclusion. Munch crunchy vegetables, munch crunchy fruit, even while on the digital screen. If you can give him apple cubes or something munchy, that is good for him. Have tweezers on your fingers to do that. Even matic clay, bookshops have clay. Squeeze on clay balls is also a good thing. Then watch sunrise and watch sunset, I told you. Then to have a choir woven lanu padura at your feet. When the child is studying at his feet, studying barefoot, rubbing on the choir mattress, which is also a good thing. And then to have 3D objects on either side of the screen, cubes, balls, shapes. So while he's on the screen, he needs to see analog shapes. That helps the brain in between in spatial arrangements to observe, because the pixel screen only has a way of, as I told you, not doing brain right. So while you're studying on the pixel screen, there are things you can do to keep brain moving through spatial neuronal complexes here. Then another good thing to do is grips and ropes, and bit of gymnasium activity. We have a center in our empathic learning center, 3,600 square feet of grips and ropes thrill system. GARTS we call it, not darts. GARTS, grips and ropes thrill system. So it's fun, entertainment, as well as it makes brain bright. When ropes, you know, it's like a challenge course. You have seen a challenge course. It's a miniature challenge course indoors, and we conduct regular outdoor programs in a 5-acre place where we have a more challenge course like thing. This is for digitox activities, so for digital detox activities. It's a scientific method. We call it empathic motor therapy. We can't include all that today. So I have already told you, don't know music while studying. Those are some of the things to do to remove the brain digitalization. Now some coaching thoughts for parents. Appeal to parents. Dear parent, comparison or competition is not good. Every child is a star on her own right. Now some children have the kinesthetic, visual, kinesthetic, acoustic, visual tracks wired more. It could have happened from mother's womb. Then they are into entertainment, fashion, decor, art, music kind of thing. Then other children, majority of children, work with the front 4 brain tracks: empathic, intuitive. How do I think about myself? Empathic, relational. How do I think about others? Then the language track. Then the 4th one is logical management track. If your child is too much on the digital screen, these 4 tracks get a little inhibited, and the child is wiring up all the time on the kinesthetic, acoustic, visual tracks, because you put the child on that. So when they are going to select subjects at A level or beyond O level, they will always look for subjects that has fashion, hospitality, decor, interior decor. So from 1990, world universities accommodated this digital revolution and the change by having graduate degrees on hospitality, fashion, decor, and different streams like that. But we also need doctors, lawyers, teachers. So you have to have kids who are good on those learning tracks also. So parent, you have to take care of how your child's brain develops. You have to take responsibility for it. Every child is a star. That's how God created them, and parents are stewards of it. At this point, I have to take up mistake management. When a child errs, that's the best time for investment. This generation of children are all the time into thrill-seeking, peril-seeking adventure. Red flags attract them. Our generation, if we saw a red flag, we stop. If they see a red flag, they run. In fact, if they are driving a vehicle, when they see the orange light, they want to dart and overcome the red light. That is, this generation's makeup has become like that. So what you should do is coach them all the time, and when you see a mistake, bide your time. After meal time is a good time. Take time for that. Sit down with your child and say, darling, this is how we do it better. You don't speak judgment. It's not retributive justice. The judgment meaning, you did it this today also you did it, I told you last time, next time you do it, and that's not the way to go. You sit down and say, darling, this is how we improve your hours. Now you see, this last hour you were all the time like that, but this is how you improve your hours. So you talk the language of improvement, and you talk the language of forgiveness. It is important for a son to understand from dad constructive, creative language, and always the better way. Don't get into fisticuffs with them. Don't get into arguments with them. Talk to them the better way. And that there is forgiveness, there's a good shepherd, there are better ways than doing it, right pathways. Teach them those things. And you must use your falling sleep time, 9 p.m. time, that is GABA time. Brain has a neurochemical transmitter called GABA, gamma amino butyric acid. That's the transmitter that does empathy. So when they are falling asleep, they feel, I did that wrong, I must say sorry to mom, I must say sorry to dad. So capture that very precious time. Now after 14, they will feel shy to get you into your room, get you into their room. So before 14, always be present with them at the sleeping time. Put them to sleep, it's alright, and don't listen to this secular, humanistic, modernistic rubbish, gibberish, where you say they must become independent soon. That dad and mom, if you say that, you are doing that to dodge your responsibility. Don't do that. Children are created and given to you as a gift from God, and they will be dependent. And let them be dependent because at the early years, because at 14 they will be turning to peers for advice. So when you input into the child and become the child's best friend before 14, they will always come back and refer to you. After 14, friends coming, peer pressure coming, digital pressure coming. At that time, trying to connect with your child will not work. So have the connection long before 14 comes. Yes. So parents will give time and not gadgets, and no harsh correction. So have board games, have mechanoset. If you can do your mechanoset with your son, mechanoset does screwdriver like that, spanner like that. So those activities with your fingers make the brain bright, and your card games, chess with your son and daughter, of course, is what you should have. Parents will clarify their ambitions for children. So personality, character and spirituality. So keep your ambitions low. Keep your threshold for praise low, meaning you quickly celebrate. Don't make it, he has to do this, he has to come first in class, he has to get 90 out of 100 for mathematics to say good. No, don't keep standards like that. Each child will have his measurable success. Go on with it. Try to improve it. Parents will discern between what is best for their child and striving. Don't run your races and get your trophies through your child. What you missed, you can't get it through your child. They must run their own races, coach for them, coach them for that, put a track for them. Yes, 6. You must stretch a child to the extent that child can do it. Next step and next stretch, dad must do daily. Keep a little time for that. It may be putting the fellow on the bicycle, it may be taking him to the beach, it may be reading with him National Geographic or David Livingstone or climbing Everest or whatever it is. Every day, plan to give your son and daughter next step and next stretch. Dad has to do it. Mom makes it daily safe. So dad has a plan to give the next step and the next stretch. That's how you improve his ability. Yes. So don't fatigue the child, don't fracture the child's ability. Let's grow them, the muscles, little by little. 7. Parents count the cost on children. So don't all the time speak of, I did so much for you, I invested so much for you. Please don't do that. On the other side, how many things are you trying to put them into? Music, sports, drama, elocution. So be careful how many things you put your child into to pack their time so that you get your time off. That's bad philosophy. Keep some time that you can invest into their life. Otherwise, how are you going to mold them when you have handed them over to other people and other things? So please keep some time where you can mold them. Be expert in one thing. You want your son and daughter to be trained by you in that thing. Okay? Then appeal to parents. Point number 8. Parents will not run their races through children. Yes. 9. Parents will not push children to be independent in order to have their time freed for other pursuits. Please don't talk that language. Children need to be dependent, and when it is time to for them to leave the nest, they will. Till then, be like the good shepherd in your children's life, and lead them into clear waters, and guide them in paths that will serve them lifelong. You understand? They are called paths of righteousness. Provide them a place of restoration when they err. Tell them there's a second chance, third chance, 11 chances or more. Tell them that. Give them a place of refuge, place of restoration. You know the 4 love languages, so each child would be different, could be different. Parents, do not be enamored with your child's starry glory, trying to get children to be brilliant more than they can. So my 3 sections were: first one, keeping brain bright while on online studies. Second one, avoiding the different medical, not so good health hazards, avoiding the health hazards, and I taught you some steps to how to avoid. Last one was how parents in COVID online study time to be closer and adopt a coaching attitude a little more close at hand. So thank you for listening. We will come to you again with a similar webinar.